Alright, it's the first weekend in February. Take a quick look at the trees. It's been a very cold winter so far. We have obviously a lot of snow, and normally most of the snow's gone by now, but it's been very cold and lots of snow. So first our pear, you can see lots of growth right up in the middle there. A few little leaves still on there, but you can tell clearly that the new growth from the old growth. The new growth is this lighter brownish color, and the older growth has kind of a little bit of light to it. So you can see that most of that growth is straight up water shoots. Pears are notorious for that, so that's going to be the main focus for that. Pruning, which is going to come up pretty soon. Our cherry was very nice and splayed out. Once again, it's been several years trying to get to this way. Lots of stuff, but it's getting to the point where we'll be able to have a nice, much easier time with the pruning. And you can see once again the difference. Even though this tree is so much larger, it does not have that same growth pattern that the pear does. The pear is way smaller, but it has so much growth, new growth straight up. And the cherry, it's not as easy to see the new growth on it, but it's much smaller and much less rapid, and definitely not as many water shoots. I have not trimmed this at all since last spring, and so there's nothing really, not those going straight up things. There's a few things that are new growth that's there, but you can barely see it way in the back there. It's just a little bit of new growth, but it's not nearly the same vigorousness as the pear. So most of the stuff here we'll be doing is just trying to clean things up and rebalance the tree, get more of it away from the fence and off the other side, so that we can make it easier to maintain. Our apple tree, lot of the tips still have apple or leaves on it. Not sure what's up with that. Could just be when the frost happened and for some reason they stuck on, but you can see there's lots and lots of all the top stuff going straight up, and lots of growth just everywhere, because last year didn't do a whole lot to it. Took out some bigger chunks instead of thinning a lot in the middle. So this year I think I'm definitely going to try and clean this up so it's a lot easier to see through, and decrease its density there. Just so much stuff, lots and lots of I think they're called brooms, where you have something that just has a giant cluster, and you can see something like right here, where in this part it goes horizontal, and there's a shoot there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes straight up, and then you come a little bit further, and then there's 3 more that go straight up as well. And that's just not very good structurally sound, not good for holding snow, holding fruit, and definitely not good for harvesting. So lots of straight up stuff in here. And we can also see when we look at our peach, it's kind of encroaching on that, so we're going to definitely cut back some of this stuff. And you can see there's a perfect example of something that just totally needs to go. That mess up there where it goes out. There's a couple horizontal branches, and then from those horizontal branches lots and lots of straight up vertical ones, so we're going to get rid of all that. And like I said, just clear some of this out. It's so congested and messy, and things overlapping, and branches going straight down, and branches touching each other and whatnot. So it's a lot of work, and we'll have to figure out exactly what we want to focus on this year, so we can get that accomplished. A lot of times when there's lots to do, it's a trade-off, and it's definitely a multi-year planning project. The cherry's been one of the great successes, so I've been able to keep up with it every year. I think one of the years I didn't do the apple because for whatever reason I was afraid something was wrong with it or something, so I just left it alone, and it's grown crazy. But anyway, we'll eventually get them all under control. Our peach tree is right there, lots of growth. Peach trees are very vigorous growers, and they respond very well to vigorous pruning, so we'll be doing that, but also trying to control the stuff. Lots of stuff going straight up in the back there and over here. you can see the lighter colored wood is the new growth, and it's mostly that stuff up at the top here, and out here and down here. In the smaller ones, you can see the red. That's new growth right there. That whole thing, you can kind of see the juncture right there where this was last year's growth and this wasn't. So you can see that there's lots of overlapping and lots of straight up stuff in the top. We'll get that cleared out there. And then also work on this spacing here. So the pear tree number 2, once again, just like its brother over there, this looks almost all straight up. It's ridiculous how much this tree likes to do that. So I'm gonna have to remove all that, all those water sprouts, and then see kind of what happens from there, because it's hard to get a feel for the structure with all that noise in there going straight up. The good thing is that this side between the apricot and the other pear tree is pretty clear. You can actually see through it right now, so we don't need to take off too much. We'll pull off some of that there to keep some nice space. We don't like the trees to touch because then they transfer bugs, and also it's hard to get in there and keep track of, or just to maintain and harvest and all that stuff. And then our monstrosity, the apricot. The apricot and the apple and the cherry were all pretty much the same size when I started actually taking care of these trees. And now you can see that one is a whole lot bigger than the apple and the cherry. And the cherry is the one that I've kept up with every year. The apple tree I've skipped a year, and the apricot maybe a couple. Not sure, but it's grown a lot. It's way too tall. I can't even get up there to harvest it. We actually had apricots this past spring, or last year, and unfortunately they were so far up there, most of them ended up going to the birds because I just couldn't get up there. The whips, or the long skinny branches, were not strong enough to put a ladder against, not even strong enough for me to use a fruit picker because they just move too much. So I'm definitely gonna have to consider what I want to do for the upcoming year. But the main thing I focused on last year was getting it away from the fence, which was very good for the fence and for it. Rubbing up against it was not helping it at all, but you can still see that a lot of it goes over there. Some of it goes out back on across the fence on the other way. And it's not necessarily rubbing right now, but it's not good for the tree to be somewhere else because then I can't see it maintain it as easily as this stuff. So anyway, this is what we have for our fruit trees in the first week of February. We're going to be doing some pruning on the upcoming weeks, and then we'll see hopefully a lot less. We'll see the snow melt, and then we can move around a lot easier and get in there. But that's what we're gonna do pretty soon. Just wanted to shoot the first video of the year